This is Regano Tarot. Peace. I have a video. I got up at 2:22 in the AM, and I have a lucid dream I would like to share with everyone. In this dream, I was walking down the street with my girl. We was in a predominantly melanated, aka black neighborhood. I like to say Asiatic neighborhood. We was walking in this neighborhood and supposed to be going to go see an apartment, and we saw the vacant, empty apartment. When we walked inside the apartment, it seemed like it was, pretty raggedy. It wasn't painted and everything in order. And there was still small pieces of furniture and things in there. It looked like an apartment would look when somebody moves out, but they don't completely take all of the things out of it. So as we're walking through the apartment looking at it, I opened up the refrigerator, and the refrigerator was pretty filthy in the bottom part of the refrigerator, with maybe like a empty carton of milk, little jars of half eaten stuff, you know, lingering around, and it's kind of filthy in the bottom part of the refrigerator. Not much in it. It wasn't really anything in it. When I opened up the freezer, there was food, like meat inside the freezer. And I was like, the apartment is empty. Nobody's here. Nobody lives here. We're supposed to be renting this apartment. I'm like, I'm finna take this food out of here. So I'm taking the food out of the freezer. As I'm taking the food out, I've noticed noise and people talking. And some other women had walked into the apartment. It seemed like it was people from the neighborhood. Because like I said, the neighborhood had, people in it. It was, your typical ghetto hood, you know, with an empty apartment. So I walk into the other room and I see my girl, and she's in there. And it's a little girl in the room with her, and the girl had to be around 7, 8, or 9 years old. She's looked sad. The little girl looked sad, and I was just looking at my girl and the girl like, what's going on? And then the lady was like, the other women that walked in there, it's like, oh, why y'all taking the food out of this house? And I'm looking at them like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the little girl. They're talking about the food, and we're in the meantime not telling them our business, that we came to look at this apartment because it was vacant and we're going to be renting this apartment out. But I didn't feel like I had to tell them my business. So I was just looking at them like, what are y'all doing in this apartment? But deep in my mind, I was like, what is this little girl doing in here? So they was like, oh, you taking their food. So it's like walking in and out of the apartment, and like they're trying to like tell other people in the neighborhood what was going on. So by then I had grabbed the bag of food, packed it up inside a bag, and put it in my car. It's funny because I don't remember coming with a car. We walked there. So as I'm going to go put the food in the car and I come back, my girl was like, oh, blah, blah, I'm out of here. I don't know who these ladies are, why they in my face. And I noticed the little girl was crying. And I was like, in my mind, because I don't remember talking after that, everything was being done telepathically. In my mind, I was like, still like, what is this little girl doing in here? Who are these women? They're still talking junk, they're talking all kind of trash. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go get this food and put it back in this refrigerator. So I go back to the car to get the food, and the car is gone. In my mind, I'm like, one of my sons, because it's only one or two of my children that drive, and the other two don't even have their permit yet. So it's only one that drives. So I'm like, maybe he took the car home. So I go back in the house and I'm like, yo, come on, let's go. So I'm still worried about the little girl. Like, what is going on with this girl? Because my girl was like, man, I don't know what these people doing, what they talking about, but forget them. They aren't supposed to be in this apartment. I don't know why that little girl is in here, but I was speaking to her. But I don't know why she's in there either. In my mind, I was like, I'm about to go to the house and go get that food and bring it back. So as we're walking to go to our apartment, which was probably like a few blocks away and around the corner, I go to the house and we go in the refrigerator. It's packed in there already. And I start taking the food out. But the food that we bought, because that's one thing I left out. My girl was like, we ain't trying to take no food for somebody. I'm we're gonna go buy some food and put it in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about food from the bottom of the refrigerator because remember, the bottom of the refrigerator was empty and it was like filthy, like wrappings, jars, and half carton of milk or whatever. So there's nothing really in there. So I noticed the stuff that we had bought from the supermarket. She was like, "What's wrong with this bread? What's wrong with the refrigerated food that we had bought was looking spoiled, but the meat that we had got from the other house, the vacant house, was still fresh and frozen looking." So she's like, "I'm throwing this away. I'm not keeping this. Like, I might have to take this back because this stuff is no good." And I was like, "Well, I want to take this other food back to that house." And that's what I was doing. I was packing up the food. But in the dream, my girl was like, if they think we stealing somebody's food or still, it's nobody in the apartment. I don't know why those people are even in that apartment. She said, when I get my food stamps, I'm gonna go and fill that refrigerator up with food because I ain't stealing. I ain't trying to take nothing from nobody. So in the dream, it was supposed to be a vacant apartment, but telepathically understanding and knowing my mind, I was like, that little girl seemed like she was vacant. Like, why was she in that apartment by herself? None of the people that was coming in and out of the apartment act like they lived there. They just kept saying why we was doing this, but they was in and out. We had reason to be there because we was going to go look at the vacant apartment. Why the little girl was in one of the rooms by herself, looking sad, I don't know. The little girl didn't start crying until the other women were coming in and out of the apartment talking junk to us. Um, that's my dream. I'm gonna do the knowledge to that dream when I get up and try to figure out what it means. This is a lucid dream. This is Regano Tarot. This is 222 in the AM. Peace.